Welcome, everyone, to Self-Mastery Training through Ageless Wisdom Teachings. With me, Lyrata, for the Institute for Global Transformation. Today is June 16th. Today we're talking about the astral plane and the importance of the etheric body. We're talking about the goal which humanity is striving for. We're talking about making right use of time and form. We're talking about the emotional astral plane and the force field around a thought. And we're talking about the astral plane as the power factor of manifestation. And lastly, we'll be talking about the astral plane or power as being separative. It attracts and repels. As in previous discussions, we already know that humanity at large is emotionally based. We hold an emotional polarity. We also know that we are moving away from, in this time that we are living right now, we're moving away. There's a call for us to move away from emotional polarity to a mental polarity. I've discussed this many times in our past sessions. As a total, what affects us in our environment is our physical, emotional, and mental worlds. We are at a particular time of growth within humanity as we speak right now, wherein because of the mental health movement, we are more aware of the importance of therapy. Fortunately, because of the landscape in which we're living here at this time, moving into a new age, ending an old age, where we're becoming a little bit more emotionally intelligent. There is an understanding now of epigenetic trauma. Okay, there's an understanding of the effects of cyberbullying and peer pressure, and there is a concerted effort for, if you see something, say something, or for children to not become stifled by bullies. Okay. So there's a sense that there is a pattern of growth within humanity where we now are beginning to appreciate the need for mental health, the importance of mental health, and working concertedly in every stage of life to create mental health for each stage, within each stage. So we're learning, there's a turn of the spiral that's going on. We are learning quickly. Yet we see on our political landscape all manner of and really in our world, we see all manner of emotionalism. Let's just call it what it is. Emotionalism that's going on in our world. We have a tendency as a group to believe that because one cannot see the threads, so to speak, they're not visible, the threads of how the emotions and the thoughts affect us, that there's no direct connection there. Okay? It can't be proven. But we are moving into a time when that will no longer be as we touch into the fourth etheric, where we will be able to see the auric fields. We'll be able to sense the color of an emotion. We'll be able to see, rather, the color of an emotion. And we'll be able to better understand because thoughts will even be outpictured in some form or another. Okay. So as we move beyond the area of solids, liquids, and gases into the fourth etheric, or what they call plasma, you know, we new things are happening. Even the children who are being birthed into society in these times are coming in equipped with the ability to, um, with a higher level of senses, they can see anger, they can hear um, emotional frequency, they can hear it. Um, very, very sensitive beings who are coming in right now with a lot of gifts. So they're already on the planet. So we have a tendency to feel that if we can't see the connections between thought and our reactions in the world or our actions in the world, that there is no connection, which is false. Okay, there are so many frequencies within our environment, within our reality, and um, we need to learn to access them. Consciousness is timeless. It's beyond time and space. Consciousness is above and free of the form. Consciousness, as we know, is also the soul. The soul is consciousness. So when we're talking about consciousness of a planet, or of an animal, or of a human being, or of a solar system, we're speaking of the soul of that entity, or the soul life of that entity. All souls are growing and evolving. We are growing in the likeness of our divine parent, that which created us, who gave us being out of itself, whose divine spark we carry, each of us, within our being. Which means slowly we are approximating ourselves to the nature of our divine parent. And as we know from previous lessons, the trajectory of humanity is every man a Christ, or every man becomes a soul conscious son of God. We are transitioning in consciousness right now between the mineral kingdom and our solar system, or the sun of our solar system. Though seemingly limited within the boundaries of time and space as we are, our souls are nevertheless eternal. From the aspect of the soul, there are no incarnations. From the aspect of the soul, it's all one life. We negate who we are, truly are, if we mistakenly identify with the form around us. And by that I mean think that we are that form. And that is the extent of life in and of itself. If we think that we are these bodies, these emotions, these thoughts, if we think that that's what we are, then we're sorely out of step with the truth. Okay? Time and space are temporary boundaries only. Our job is to realize that it is an illusion, this aspect of time and space. It's an illusion. Our job is to get out of the illusion of time and space so that we may find our true place in the world. If we can lift our awareness above and beyond into the higher frequencies that are available to us and reflect, if we can lift our awareness above and beyond the world in which we live, which is simply a reflection of a higher frequency, of a more true world, and move into the world of frequency where action takes place, okay, in energy, force, and substance, then we learn to control time and form. We learn to create the effects we seek in time and space. So there is availability to us of higher frequencies within our being. And we've talked about the Ajna Center, and we've practiced in our meditations moving into the Ajna Center. And we know through the teachings that the Ajna Center is the control center of the lower chakras. It's while we are in our Ajna Center, we are the master of our house. We are in control of our being. So when we can move into that center or other centers within our being, higher centers within the head, then we are able to work with the energy of thought and the force of emotion and the substance of action to produce the effects we seek in this realm, the reflection of time in time and space that we seek to produce. Okay? So it's giving us a new way of handling things. It's giving us a way where we can become causative within the world in which we live. We don't simply have to react to what's dealt to us. We can move into the place where thought, emotion, and action before it happens. and consider what needs to be done and move it into appearance from that higher place. This is the trajectory overall of humanity. Okay. Especially now that we're entering the Aquarian age. Especially now. In this moment of learning and anchoring this work, this skill. Because here we're entering the age of a technically proficient group in the sciences and in achievements. That will be a common thing. And we already know, at least I think we have discussed in the past, that this new age is not only the Aquarian age, but it's the movement from 6th ray to 7th ray. Okay. Movement from idealism and aspiration and transcendence to bringing spirit into matter, realizing that spirit and matter are the exact same thing, moving and ambulating, working at different, popping, vibrating at different frequencies. Okay? Bringing spirit into matter. And because 7th ray is a subsidiary of 1st ray, 1st ray is the parent, so to speak, of 7th ray, 7th ray. 7th ray being an attribute of the 3 major rays. Things happen quicker. Things will happen quickly in this age. Thoughts will turn into things very quickly. So this lesson is extremely important for us to understand and begin to embody. Pay attention. We're now in a new turn of the spiral where we seek a higher path. Remember, we're moving from an emotional polarization to a mental polarization. We're seeking a higher level of awareness, which is going to gradually guide us into wisdom over time. Our goal in moving from an emotional polarization to a mental polarization is to be able to become causal in our lives, to be able to work from a place of cause rather than reaction. We want to lift our perception upward to the frequencies of actions that are causal, to be able to live in a world of scientific achievement and knowledge and success. The etheric plane, which is that plane which includes the aura, the chakras, and what are called the nadis, tubular vessels, so to speak, in the etheric plane that connect us to everything. Okay. We know of 3 major nadis right now. Science has told us about 3 major nadis: the Ida, the Pingala, and the Sushumna. Beyond that, There are 72,000 nadis in your body that are busy delivering small energy streams to the chakras and the aura of your body. So the nadis are a whole etheric mechanism that connects us to the sun, connects us to the planet, connects us to the solar system, connects us to the divine, connects us to each other, connects us to each kingdom within this planet. Everything is interconnected as a result of this etheric plane. So within the etheric plane, the energy and force are directed into specific patterns that have an effect and take an effect on our bodies in real time. Thus, it is here where our thoughts, our energy, the effect of our emotions take effect on our physical body. They take on a form. These emotions, these thoughts take on a form through the etheric. Okay? They take on a substance. They become matter. And no better example of that exists than illness. Illnesses may appear to crop up, but in fact, illnesses are usually happening over long periods of time, caused by a particular thought form or emotion within our being. That isn't addressed, recognized, handled. So it can be dispelled and shifted into its higher octave, which then causes optimum health. Okay. Illnesses travel from the spiritual to the mental to the emotional, and then it hits physical dens, or it's the etheric body, and then physical dens. So the best time to catch an illness is when we recognize that which is happening within us, our thoughts, our feelings, and we know that something about them isn't right. That's what we address so as not to cause illnesses later on, not to allow it to manifest as illnesses later on. The emotional plane, let's talk about that for a while, which is also technically called the astral plane, is a fluidic form. Okay? That's why in meditation we experience the astral plane as a pool of water. It's fluidic. It's composed of that frequency of substance that gives a thought form sufficient force to manifest in etheric activity. An emotional thought or plane is composed of a frequency of substance that gives a thought form sufficient emotional force to manifest in etheric activity. When we have an emotion, any emotion, we are reacting in the feeling aspect of our consciousness to that field of force or frequency around a thought of the emotion. This field of force is the astral form, the thought form that it inhabits or takes as it descends into the frequency scale of matter. That's a very powerful statement when you think about it. It's saying that when we have an emotion, something's going on in our feeling, our emotional body, of our consciousness, that we're reacting in the feeling aspect to the field of force or frequency around a thought of an emotion. An emotion will create a thought will create emotion, and substance creates an emotion as well. But we'll get to that down the road in a piece. The field of force that's created is the astral form the thought inhabits or takes as it descends into the frequency scale of matter. So there's a connection that's being told to us between an emotion the field of force that's built up of an emotion, and the field of force that encircles a particular thought of an emotion, that thought, as it moves, it moves into the frequency scale of matter. It creates something in form. The astral plane is a frequency of the third aspect. We already know this. We've talked about this. The astral plane is again, the emotional plane or the astral emotional plane. It's part of the third aspect, which we already know is divine intelligence, divine creativity, matter, mother, substance. Third aspect. First aspect, divine creativity. I'm sorry. First aspect, divine purpose, will and power. Second aspect, love, wisdom. Third aspect, divine creativity or intelligence, also known as matter or substance. Mother, mater. So the astral plane is a frequency of the third aspect of this holy trinity, the three major aspects I just mentioned. Okay, trinity. I'm trying to make a triangle here. Okay, first aspect, second aspect, third aspect. The holy trinity: Father, Mother, Son, consciousness, soul. So, this astral plane is part of the third aspect of the Holy Trinity found in the matter aspect of manifestation, or also what we know is called the negative pole. We know the positive pole is divine will, Father. The negative pole, Mother. Frequency between, Son, Soul, Consciousness. Within this negative pole, or this negative pole of manifestation, within this negative pole, this third aspect, exists or lives intelligences, intelligent lives, whose job it is to arrange themselves according to the magnetic lines of intent around a formed thought, strong enough to attract these etheric lives to give the thought manifestation in matter. So, as spirit impresses matter with its intention, okay, that impression or that magnetizing of energy between spirit and matter creates or activates these lives, these intelligent lives, who then go about creating and outpicturing that which the intention, the positive pole intended perfectly, perfectly. Because of the conflicts we have within ourselves around our emotions, because we have not yet really gained that level of emotional intelligence. This astral plane is the plane that needs the most work by the human race in order for us to evolve. Okay? Because it's always in reaction. It's always just experiencing, reacting. It's always going on all the time. It is that force most conflicted and difficult for us to control. The astral body is truly a force. It is an extensive and tremendous body of power that has a huge effect on humanity at large. And it affects and causes reactions in the mental, emotional, and etheric physical of our environment as well. So we tend to be primarily reactionary in the feeling aspect of consciousness. We have not yet learned how to think, pause when something happens to us or comes into our arena. Pause and take like a 10-minute pause. That 10-minute pause is purposeful. Breathe. Bring oxygen into the body to calm the emotional body. And then begin to, instead of reacting, think about the plan of action necessary in this particular scenario, whatever it might be. We need to think things through. Usually what we do is feel first and stay there. Okay? We feel and that's it. We don't even, we feel and act as a result of it. Okay? We don't stop to think. We don't stop to craft a plan of action. So take a moment, if you will, and think on the etheric plane. Let's do this together. And I'll take you through a little bit of a passage so that you can visualize um, where you might be, where you are. Take a moment to visualize the creative imagination, this frequency of constant activity that interpenetrates your physical environment. Imagine at a higher frequency than the etheric, the astral plane occupying the same time and space as both the etheric and the physical. Close your eyes and do this. Imagine this frequency being composed of tiny particles of substance resembling particles of colored water that are constantly assuming relationships to form fields of force around any thought and action taking place within the environment. Consider a thought that's common to yourself and imagine the field of force around it. Then imagine that field of force and the thought being carried by the etheric network into contact with another individual in the environment. See the thought, and particularly the field of force, make an impact upon the feeling aspect of the other person's awareness. Imagine their reaction, first in the real environment, and then in the physical environment. Do this with as many thoughts as you possibly can. Remember, entertaining. What are the many thoughts you recall entertaining throughout a day? And ask yourself the following questions. What kind of impact do I most often make upon the feeling aspect of others? What kind of reactions do I most often produce in others? In what way do I need to correct my thinking and feeling habits? Take a deep breath and release that moment and focus back on this particular lesson. So, what is the nature then of astral emotional substance? Let's go over a couple of them. One, number one, the nature of the astral emotional substance is that it is one of the natures, is that it is the power factor of manifestation. Meaning, any thought given astral form or a force field will manifest in substance, in action. It will produce an effect in time and space. Did you hear that? Our emotional body is really the power factor of manifestation. How is it the power factor of manifestation? Because its job is to take any thought that's given astral substance or force field and manifest it in time and space. Likewise, any in substance produces a reaction in the astral field and creates a field of force around it. This is why the astral force has such a strong effect on humanity and a stronger effect on humanity than any other thing. Which is why things like threats to one's to one's lifestyle, employment, cyberbullying, family, all right now are through the roof. Are they not? So, carelessness in friendships, love and hate are lethal, especially in these times, because these times are a conductor of these thoughts with rapidity in time and space. This field of force can heal or create illness. It can create peace or wars. It can create stability or instability. It can cause depression, or it can create sanity, or it can strengthen people. This same energy will cause plants to grow or to wither and die. This same field of force can consciously be used to repel insects from a house by loving them away, not by hating them away or harming them. It can increase intelligence and it can raise IQ. Astral power is a power we as yet have so much to learn about. Another aspect to be aware of is that it conditions the form with a particular frequency or note that gives that form its peculiarities, its quality, its characteristics. Okay? This helps to identify one person from another and differentiate people. Okay? This also applies to an environment as well. The sum total of astral force gives the environment its quality and conditions, making it unique. Okay? Many examples I could cite. along these ways. And maybe I should take some time to do that. I sing to my plants. I talk to my plants. I stroke my plants. I listen to my plants. I allow them to tell me, not allow them. I listen for what it is they need. Okay. And as a result, my plants are beautiful. They're prolific. And because of this, I love taking plants that are not well and bringing them home and restoring them. When it says this field of force can create peace or wars, it creates illness or not, heals or creates illness. uh, One of the things that I recall wow, look at the illness that cropped up 2019, 2020, the pandemic. Look what was happening in our world, the political landscape. How many times would I hear news anchors saying they look forward, they remember and they look forward to the times before when the news was different, and that they felt that they were aging with the concentration of news that they had to share over uh, that 4-year period of time can create stability or instability, can create peace or wars. It can create illness or health, depression or sanity. It can weaken or strengthen people. Important, very, very important. I had an insect on my kitchen counter earlier this week, one that I just knew did not belong in my house. Or, maybe you find it in the underpinnings of the house, but never in the living spaces. And I am working on harmlessness with insects. So as I saw it, when I'm working right there at the counter, I threw up my hands in that feeling that one gets, when you are anti insects in your home. And I've always believed that certain things belong outside of my home, not inside of my home. If you're inside of my home, my mantra used to be different than it is now. Let me put it that way. So I just said out loud, you do not belong here. And I decided, let me think about how I'm going to put this thing outside, but I wasn't focused on it. I turned to complete actions that I was working on, things that I was working on. And when I turned back, which was really 2, 3 seconds max, 2, 3 seconds, the thing had disappeared completely. It was nowhere ever seen again, for which I was grateful. So this energy can be used to repel insects from a house by loving them away, not by hating them away. Okay? I'm going to be working on this diligently. This energy can increase intelligence and it can raise IQ. Now, this one I find telling. At a time when so much is being robbed from our education, and teachers are being limited as to what it is they can say, what it is they can teach. Imagine what it would be like if teachers were working with children, realizing that these children are souls here to evolve, and that their job is to be as stewards, so to speak, to encourage, to build, to love, to appreciate them regardless of their gender, their culture, their ethnicity, their religion. They're accepted as souls first and foremost. And the duty that we have to these growing young ones who already hold a lot of wisdom and can sense when something is right and when it's not right. So astral power is as yet, it has so much within it that we do not know, that we need to learn about, we need to get a grasp of. As I said, it conditions the form with a particular frequency or note, giving it its peculiarities. So each and every one of us, the difference that we hold within ourselves, the difference that is us, is our astral note. It's our quality. It's our character. It's our peculiarities. It's what makes us us. It identifies and differentiates us from others. The same characteristic applies to environments. Okay? Holland is a totally different country and energy, frequency, than, say, Jamaica. Totally different. Nigeria, totally different frequency, energy than, say, Hawaii. So astral energy is by nature then, so astral energy, with all of these aspects that we've just discussed, astral energy is by nature then separative. It distinguishes one from another. It's purposeful. The divine created it that way. And astral energy both attracts and repels according to its dominant energy. So, if the tonal quality of an environment is of fear or fearful, what happens is that quality will attract into the substance or form exactly what is feared. Think about that. Bringing those conditions feared into play, into reality, really. That's huge. Boom. Which is why we're always told, don't think about what you don't want, think about what you want to happen. Astral energy then compounds that which is fear, as the force field of fear produces action in substance, adding to the original field of reaction. So, whatever reaction you initially had, fear, the astral energy compounds it, that which is feared. Okay. Whatever it is you're fearing, the astral energy will compound that which is being feared. Okay. And build a force field of fear around to produce in action more of what it is you don't want. This astral energy will also repel experiences that will eliminate, once that fear is locked in, it will repel experiences that will eliminate or decrease the fear, creating a groundswell of an astral prison from which it becomes hard to escape unless the light of reason from the mind can reach through and dispel the fear. There's a lot to think about there. So the astral environment tends to separate people, groups, and it imprisons personalities in a pattern of repetitious experiences, creating a drag on our evolutionary growth because we're stuck in a pattern of fear and we can't move out of it. We can't escape it unless the light of the mind reaches in and says, ping. So, how much are we affected by others? We often hear those close to us say, oh, I don't care what other people think, right? I hear that everywhere I go. I don't care what other people think. Everybody says that. But I posit that the feelings of others around us have a great effect on us and our ability to create, to grow, and to do. Okay, more than we think. It also acts as a drag to our evolutionary growth. Okay. These force fields impact our astral bodies. And our reactions to these impacts often are not our own, but are caused by streams of force impacting us from the environment, which means to say that when You do something, you react in some way to something, you do something. People disparage you for whatever it was done. They hold it in their consciousness. Um, it doesn't go away. Okay? Uh, Maybe you feel so right about what it is you did, you refuse to apologize. And you say, I don't care what other people think. I'm sticking to my guns. Sticking to my, not my guns, I don't like that. I'm sticking to my to my decision. So what this is actually saying is that often we do not realize how much we are impacted by the thought forms of others around whatever issue it may have been. Okay, we can carry it. Okay, black sheep of the family, perfect one. Whoever the black sheep is, that person will carry that. And the thought forms of the family who hold this being, maybe some do, maybe some don't, but whoever does hold this being, and this young one is whoever this being is walking around thinking, I'm the black sheep of the family. No one likes me. Everybody hates me for whatever reasons. That impacts your ability to move forward. Okay? You can say and make an ounce and pronounce, I don't care. But as Shakespeare said, methinks that thou dost protest too much. I don't think he said that, but something to that effect. So that's about it for today. We will be delving more deeply into this in upcoming lessons. This is a very, very important lesson, has some major concepts in it that I hope you are capturing. And if you don't capture it immediately, listen to it again and again and again. You will. Our emotional body is the power factor of manifestation. Our emotions are not for what it is we think they are. They're not simply for us to react in the world. Our emotions are really a force field to create what it is we want in life. And in order to create, we have to be causal. In order to be causal, we have to be able to move into the higher frequencies above the astral and the mental, into the frequency of cause, where we can think before we can yeah, we can think, we can feel, and we can create into manifestation, into time and space, what it is that really needs to be created. Okay, it's an aspect of moving to that place before thought and emotion and anything else begins to percolate out. Okay, we move in to decide what it is that really needs to be done, how it is we really need to be, what it is we really want to create, what is our intention, and we move from that point. Okay, holding the awareness that we don't want to create harm. We want to be in alignment. We want to use our gift of creativity. So we move into one of the higher frequencies, and we work from that place. So, as I said, we'll move deeper into this in coming lessons. And in the meantime, I think probably one of the best ways for you to begin to utilize this is to take the time to consider your astral emotional environment. Consider what it's like. Who are you on the astral emotional level? Okay? Consider the impacts that you're receiving. And consider how you impact others. And then try to discern your dominant note. What is your dominant note? Your or color, or quality, or frequency. And what is the dominant note of your environment? Do you consider yourself to be a victim of your circumstances or not? These are things to work with, okay? Until the next time we meet. Again, I am grateful to all of you who are listening and working with these lessons, these studies, and look forward to any comments you might have, any questions you might have. And I give thanks to the Institute for Global Transformation and all of the work that's being done by the volunteers and organizers of that um, beautiful nonprofit. Okay? Take good care, everyone. Until next time, much love. Lyrata.